Have you ever had an idea that you couldn't stop thinking about so much, but you wondered, would anybody love this idea as much as I do? I'm getting ready to take you just slightly behind the scenes, really my thought process behind building my very first collection and my brand, the Heirloom Table. I have been inspired by other brands like Rifle Paper Co. and I believe it's pronounced Papier and Sugar Paper LA, even though I don't know if they actually make their own stationery, but there's so many beautiful, I think Dior has a stationery writing set, just beautiful letter writing sets. And I was like, would anybody love to have these elevated yet fun and whimsical stationery products as much as I love having them and designing them myself? Because the thing of it is, my vision behind the Heirloom Table, it goes beyond just creating a bunch of stuff. And one of the things I noticed was for Rifle Paper Co., their brand has been extended beyond just paper and stationery. I mean, I believe they sell throw pillows and apparel and rugs, home goods, candles, like all the things. And yes, I would love to have an expansive collection for the Heirloom Table. But for right now, where I am, I just want to ensure that the collection that I'm creating resonates with the community that I am building, because it's going to be an extension of my local community here that I'm building. So for women who don't necessarily live in Southern California, say for instance, they live in Florida, or they live in Texas, or they live in Arizona, or they live in Las Vegas, or they live in Minnesota, no matter where they live, and they follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and they're like, I want to join one of her beautiful elevated luncheons, or I want to be a part of one of her coffee and conversations. My collection is an extension of that for women who want to feel a part of a community, but don't necessarily live locally in this area. And so the idea behind the Heirloom Table stemmed from me creating these elevated luncheons last year. My love of, lighting the tapered candles midway through the luncheon as the sun sets, and how it illuminates, rich conversation, or just having it be like the creme de la creme of, a beautiful table setting. And regardless if it's a women's luncheon or it's just you lighting a candle, taper candle, getting ready to, do your to-do list, or getting ready to write in your journal, it just sets the mood. It adds that just little tiny bit of romanticism, whether it's for yourself or it's for, to share with your friends. And so that is the goal of me trying to create this lifestyle brand from scratch at 50 years old, mind you. And so here's the thing. I'm taking you along this journey with me, because my idea is, if you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're thinking, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could create a product and a brand that will give me the life that I love and dream of. I don't know if I can finish the book that I want to write. I don't know if I can, create, maybe you want to be a baker and you want to sell, cookies or cakes or pies, and you're still sitting here wondering can I do this? How can I do this? Where do I start? Where do I begin? Where do I get the courage to basically begin again at this stage in your life? And so I am sharing my journey to encourage you that it is okay to show up for yourself at this stage in your life. And I want to give you permission to start where you are. I'm literally starting from zero. So with that being said, my product collection will consist of flat note cards and yes, flat note cards, journals, notepads, stickers, and tapered candles. And then I believe I'll have a small thing of personal fragrance. And I have so many other ideas, but I have to start there because I don't want to have a bunch of SKUs and I don't want to get overwhelmed with products. And so what I decided to do I wanted to have 2 tiers. One tier is for my Luxury Correspondence Club, and that'll give women just an attainable opportunity to initially become a part of our club, Correspondence Club, basically. And that'll consist of my note card, some stickers. It'll consist of, beautiful satin ribbon, affirmation cards, and then it'll change on a monthly basis. So you'll get a little something different every month. And then the second tier is actually, and I have it in front of me, it's a gift box. So I've been giving these gift boxes to the women who attend my meetups. And it looks like an envelope. And you've probably seen these on Pinterest, and they're filled with flowers and different little things, almost like a gift box. But I was like, wouldn't this be like absolutely beautiful to fill with my stationery and then other gifts too? So in this particular box, my perfume. So I have my perfume here. I have my tapered candles, which I absolutely love. They're handmade and they just look so pretty. I also have my note cards with my stickers inside, and then each month the note cards will say something, and then it'll also have the affirmation. And then I have a nice little journal here, and then I have another card on the journal with a tassel, and I may even put like some type of little charm that is a theme for that month. And it's just, and then a pen. Having something, like I said, really nice and tangible that I can either give to myself or give to a friend who's either going through some type of hard time, who's actually celebrating something, thinking of you, whatever it is. I thought, this envelope, an invitation together would be a perfect beginning of my collection. But my first thought is, will anybody buy this? And so leave me a comment if this is something that you feel you can, someone you can think of right now that could use either a beautiful gift note card, filled with affirmations and inspirations, just things that make them feel beautiful, or a gift box that encourages women to live intentionally as an invitation to gather, basically. I'm just sitting here, and again, I'm starting from scratch. The hardest part, honestly, isn't about like pricing and manufacturing, deciding what to include. The hardest part is just believing that people will connect with what you're creating. I've always been told, create something that fills a need. I also believe that it's important to create something that fills a void. And so when you think about it, no one needs stationery. I'm thinking of Joanna Gaines. Yes, she's created these beautiful interior designed homes, and that's how she became famous. She opened up, a boutique filled with beautiful crafts and plants and curated home goods that no one really needs. Like, Joanna Gaines isn't doing something where she's curing some type of disease, but she is filling a void. And I feel like she's filling a void where women want to invite beauty into their lives, invite intentionality into their lives, invite conversation into their lives. And I think that could be transforming for women who, they're looking around. They may have gone through a divorce. They may have come out of a dark place. They may be, experiencing a phase of empty nest syndrome. And they're looking around their home and they're looking at their lives and they're going, I need a refresh. I need to bring some joy into my life. Sometimes people call it retail therapy. I don't believe in buying things just to buy things. I believe that it's important to buy things that really resonates with your soul and your spirit and your mindset, something that is like a keepsake, something that you may be able to pass on. I feel like this box, I was thinking the other day, I was like, wouldn't it be nice to use this box as a way? So for instance, I saw a couple of women who had subscribed to multiple snail mail correspondence clubs. And I was like, wouldn't this be a nice little starter box to collect all of your letters and your mail and different items in the box, almost like a keepsake box? And wouldn't it be nice to maybe at one point when you collect all of these letters, all of these keepsakes, you may decide to gift it to your daughter who may be going off to college. I'm thinking about all these things while I'm creating my product, and I know I want to make sure that it isn't just to feel nooks and cranny and tchotchkes, in your home, but to actually create and invite a space for connectivity together for community. So if that makes sense to you, please leave me a comment and say, you know what, Ebony, I understand what you're doing. I feel what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Maybe have you thought about this? I'm welcome to ideas as well. But my goal is to just continue to finalize my product, continue to add all the little, details, my heirloom table details, and then prepare one for my very first market, which I'm super excited about. I believe in July or August. It was supposed to have been this weekend, but they postponed it for the next couple of weeks. So launching my correspondence club, which I'm finalizing everything that I want to go into my mailer. This collection is finally starting to come together, but the scary part is putting it in front of people. And I always say, you never know how much your product, the product that you're creating, is going to resonate with people until you have a proof of your concept. You could say all day, people are going to love this idea. I can say people are going to love my stationery brand. People are going to buy it. They're going to fall in love with it. They're going to share with all of their friends, and it's going to be amazing. In my product line, I chose a journal because I truly believe that a journal is the simplest way to reconnect with yourself. I chose tapered candles because I believe that lighting tapered candles is a way to turn an ordinary day into something absolutely romantic, even if it's just for yourself. I believe, fragrance is a way to communicate, your personal style and your personality with the world. And so with all of these different little things, it's so important that we give each other permission to live beautifully. My name is Ebony Robinson, and this is RSVP with Ebony Robinson, where I am building the heirloom table one beautiful chapter at a time. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.